Morning, everyone. Today is the 8th of November. Tomorrow, well, in less than 14 hours, as of recording this, God of War Ragnarok is coming out, or publicly being released. I'm a little upset that I've already seen other YouTubers having full videos of it. A channel I never heard of already posting major spoilers for the game, and it's a little annoying. Yeah, but with Ragnarok, I do intend to do a commentary with it. Hopefully it's not terrible and you guys don't hate it, but it is what it is. That being said, I wanted to go over a quick review of first God of War 2018. Hopefully I say quick, as in just a few minutes, not what I tried doing yesterday with Mass Effect, and I'll get into that one later. So anyway, I do truly enjoy the 2018 version of God of War. I was a little upset at first when it came out, how it was an open world game, going from a very linear, you follow this path type of game. And I didn't think it was going to work, but surprisingly enough, it did. And in a good way. I also like that, despite the fact that it's open world, you're not being bombarded with 1,800 things to do all at once. Where Ubisoft Assassin's Creed games now, it's open world. You take 2 steps. Oh my God, Eivor, I need you to do this, or Eivor, you can do this, or Eivor, and you go all of 3 feet. The map isn't super loaded with so much to do, and you feel overwhelmed. That being said, as well, when I first played it back in 2018 when it came out, I thought there was a lot to do. I was like, holy shit, how does anyone do all this? And replaying it again, I kind of realized there's not actually all that much to do, which, again, I think is good. Keep the game short and sweet, focus on the story and the setup for the sequel, and not so much on the fact that you have an open world and you need to fill it with so many activities that it's not entertaining. I did play this game, obviously, like what I said, I used to play it back when it first came out, and I kind of stopped because I lost a little interest until Ragnarok was announced. I was like, ooh, I should play the first one, and took a while to get back into, with me playing Final Fantasy XIV all the time, and that's why I spammed God of War in the last week or so, I guess, at this point. So I just really wanted to get that out there to do a refresher, to get myself refresh what's going on or what happened, because I don't know if they're going to do like a recast video for Ragnarok, like here's Kratos' life, here's what happened in his previous games with everything that happened in Greece. Because there was the first one, God of War 2, God of War 3, God of War Ascension, Chains of Olympus, and I know there was one more where we learned Kratos had a brother who got kidnapped and killed instead of Kratos. Like, there was a lot of stuff that I felt was unnecessary back then. Like, we didn't need a backstory for every little detail of his life. Now, I'll get into the story of 2018's God of War. It did propel me to get a little more into Norse mythology. I'm nowhere near as insightful as I should be, but after the revelation that Atreus' real name is Loki, and how he killed Baldur, or how he was able to make Baldur vulnerable with the mistletoe, I had to look that up, because like, that's just kind of weird, and it's not exactly like that, but the fact that it was Loki with a mistletoe arrow was almost spot on for mythology. Whereas in mythology, he tricked one of the some other god to shoot a mistletoe arrow at Balder as a joke, because apparently trying to kill Balder or make Balder feel anything after that was a big joke, and the mistletoe arrow killed Balder, thus starting Ragnarok, which they said that's what happened in the game. It's fairly interesting. Of course, I mean, it's not one-for-one accurate to mythology again. That's just how Santa Monica's did it. I don't mind it's not one-for-one, but obviously when you learn about different mythology and mythos, it's kind of like, oh, that's weird. Why did they change that? Like for Balder, he was the most beloved god throughout the 9 realms. Everyone loved him. And Freya went around making a deal with every living creature and thing to ensure that Balder would never die. Except for mistletoe, because she thought, oh, well, it's just mistletoe. What harm could that do? He wasn't this creature that was just so filled with hate about his mother and all that, and he just didn't care. But I think it's an interesting twist going with, well, what would happen if some immortal being couldn't feel anything? I'm sure that would be enough to drive anyone to how Balder felt. Just upset, pissed off, but unable to do anything about it for X amount of time. Because I know I'd be driven insane. It's like, I can't feel anything. Why would I? Why would I ever forgive you? And then the beginning where the stranger, aka Balder, and Kratos meet for the first time at Kratos' house. And Balder is like, I thought you'd be bigger, and how he thought Kratos knew what he wanted, and that he was so enlightened and far from home. And at first, I'm sure, myself included, everyone was thinking, oh, he knows Kratos is a god of war. He thought he'd be bigger being a god, specifically being a god of war, especially knowing Tyr, that he's from Greece, he's too far from home, and that Greeks were more philosophers than warriors, and that that's how he was so much more enlightened. And then in retrospect, when you find out that Faye was a giant, that Balder was looking for her, it makes more sense that Balder thought he was talking to a giant, not a god. So I forgot the conversation the first time when I played it, and then when I was replaying it before New Game Plus, like, oh shit, that's a neat little twist there. Realize, because looking back, you realize, like, oh, he wasn't talking about how Kratos was a god. He didn't even know. And of course, now Odin knows, Thor knows that Kratos is a god of war. So, Ragnarok, there's not going to be any confusion. And as for my thoughts on why the dead are taking over Midgard, because anyone who's done some research on Ragnarok for Norse mythology, the dead would be Odin's chosen warriors from the Valkyries and Valhalla. Whereas here, it seems to be happening too soon, because even Mimir says, brother, what you did wasn't supposed to happen for another 100 years. Fate didn't count on you, which tells me that Odin actually did foresee Kratos coming early, or Kratos coming and everything happening a little sooner than expected. So he's drowning Midgard with he corrupted the Valkyries in physical forms, and their queen put them away and vanished herself, thus letting Helheim overflow and Hellwalkers take over Midgard, and in hopes of taking down Kratos. But that's just my theory. Obviously, I'm probably going to be extremely wrong, but it would make sense of why the dead are already taking over Midgard, and why everything just seems to be going to shit so soon. Because I remember even Faye saying, well, something happened to this world something put this world in an imbalance. And if you remember at the end of God of War 3, even Zeus says, look at everything you've done. It's going to take me forever to fix all this chaos. So basically the existence of Kratos causes chaos, and everything was put in disarray. It's kind of a neat to look back and see if this is all true. Of course, I mean, it's fan theories, and I don't like making fan theories because half the time they're wrong and they're ridiculous. But I don't know if they had a full roadmap plan, but like I said, the mere existence of Kratos himself seems to be something going on with fate. And, well, it doesn't help that he destroyed fate in God of War 2 just so he can get revenge. I will say one thing that kind of annoys me, not to the point where it's like, oh my god, this is terrible. The scene where Atreus is out because of the Rage of Sparta being activated, and he doesn't know how to control it, so he's sick. And he goes to Freya's hut, and they're all having a discussion about no fire can stay in Helheim. And Kratos goes, well, I have to get something from my past that I swore was buried. I always thought it would be better or more simplistic. Well, simplistic being better in my opinion on this would be him just either the camera panning down at his wrist and him stroking it almost, or saying, I know what will burn. And just leaving it at that. And Faye just going, well, whatever it is, get it and help your son because he's your future, not your past. Hinting that she might know what he's talking about. And then when he's going to Mimir's asking what's going on, what do you get? And instead of going, be quiet, head, he could have gone, be quiet, Mimir. Just showing how serious this is for him. And since he never says Mimir, he always says head. That one time he says Mimir, Mimir's like, oh shit, sorry brother. Minor complaint, like I said, doesn't ruin the game or anything like that. I just think it would have been simpler to keep that scene very simplistic, and then whenever he gets the Blades of Chaos again, then it could be the flames of my rage burn hotter than anything else. But yeah, so these are better writers than I, by far. I truly enjoyed that this is a single player game only, that there's no extra DLC. So I really look forward to when this game comes out. The next, as of now, 13 and 40 minutes from now, publicly. I think I'm going to leave it here. I will say that I did do an N7 day video, and it's too long at this point. I think I kind of got into trying to tell the story of Mass Effect again, where I shouldn't. I'll probably do a re-recording and release that later this month or next month or something like that. And yeah, so next time you guys see me put a video, hopefully it will be God of War Ragnarok with commentary. Until then, enjoy your day, have a good one, and I'll talk to you guys later. See ya.